Hello, this is Darren.
And this is Paige.
And this is
Where's the Lemonade?
Where we talk about what happens when life throws you lemons.
Make some lemonade?
Maybe. Some weeks it's lemon squares.
Yeah, some weeks it's just lemons.
Yeah.
On today's episode,
K-Drama.
한국 drama 보니.
All right, on today's episode, we decided to talk about K-dramas.
And why did we decide to talk about K-dramas? I'm sure everyone is wondering that right now.
Because we're weird. That's why.
We told Madeline we were going to do an episode on K-drama, and she went, why?
It has been our passion for, 3 weeks? Did we go through that whole thing in 3 weeks?
Yes, we were told by so many people of all ages, all generations, all different kinds of taste in TV to watch this show, Crash Landing on You. And I was very hesitant because...
Why were you hesitant?
I was hesitant. Why, thank you for asking. I was hesitant because I don't want to read my TV. I want to watch my TV and do something while I'm watching TV. I don't want to have to sit and read my TV. And that is exactly what you have to do on this show.
Especially on this show because they have it dubbed, but they have it dubbed into Portuguese, into Spanish, and not dubbed into English.
No.
And just English subtitles.
Yes. So you have to read the entire thing. Well,
we didn't explain what K stands for.
Oh,
did we? Oh,
nope.
Well, it doesn't matter. We're going to explain it now.
Yeah.
K stands for Korean.
Korean drama. Now, once again, there might be some people wondering why we're watching a Korean drama.
We don't know. Except our friends said, you got to check it out.
And we decided to go ahead and watch it because I had my surgery and I was, recuperating. And so I could just say, I don't normally sit and just watch TV. I usually do something while I'm watching TV. And you cannot. You can't. Because you don't know what they're saying. So you can't even get up and walk into the other room for a second. You can't look at your email. You can't look at your text. You can't do anything except read the TV.
It's a little... In fact, normally during the show, we'll talk as well. Because you can hear it in the background. You can watch it. Or maybe I'm working on a school paper or on email or whatever.
Yeah, no. It is straight staring at the TV screen, and it goes fast too. You gotta be a fast reader. It's like boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little crazy because normally if we're sitting and cuddling on the couch watching TV, we're talking, so it's a little bit noisy or whatever. The kids came in and we were sitting there with our eyes glued to the TV reading, and they come in to talk to us, and we're like, pause the TV.
Yes, we must pause before
because
we
might miss something.
Mm-hmm. And we have to rewind it. So
would you say it was good for our relationship then?
Why would you ask that? Why would it be good for our relationship?
Because it says it on the paper. And you wrote the paper.
I know.
You said, why is it good for our relationship?
Right. No, I said why it was good for our relationship.
Yes, why was it good for our relationship? Isn't that the question I asked?
Yeah, I think it was. Sorry.
Okay.
Well, I think because we were focusing on this show together, we were watching this together, focusing on it together. We talked about it. Sometimes we would pause and talk about it. And it was just, we weren't doing 10 other things while we were watching this show together.
Yeah, it was really kind of cool because normally during the show, we'll talk about it during the show. Afterwards, though, with this show, it was afterwards when we talked about what happened in the show. It was fun. It was almost like reading a novel together.
Most of the shows we watch together, we fall asleep in.
Yes.
Because we watch them when we go to bed. We turn it on while we're reading on our phone. And one of us falls asleep or both of us fall asleep. So you cannot do that with this show. So we actually I think we only watched maybe one episode when we went to bed because we would watch it.
And I would easily fall asleep.
Yeah. So you did that a couple of times and you had to catch up the next day. So, but yes.
It was kind of interesting, and the first episode we were like, okay, but after the second episode, it's like we got to watch the next episode. But each episode was like an hour and a half long.
It is, and I could only watch like one at a time because my head would hurt from reading all the. Like, you have to focus so much. And like I said, it's fast. You got to read double time, people. Like, it's like, wait, what? Double?
Maybe we should go back and rewatch it now.
Maybe in a few months. We should
Okay.
wait a couple months. But really good story, really good writing. So we were hooked.
I think that's why we were hooked, because there's so many shows out today that just have awful writing.
Yes.
And this had really good writing.
Really good writing.
Yeah, it was clean. You could watch it with your family. So I thought it was really good.
Okay, so let's talk about how refreshing it was to watch this show. People are still probably wondering why we're doing an episode on a K-drama.
Because Paige is learning Korean, as you heard her in the intro.
Yes, I don't even remember what that was now. I did it just for the intro. But one of the reasons we're talking about it though is because it was different for our relationship. We weren't just watching a show while doing 20 other things. It kind of connected us a little bit, don't you think?
Yeah, I do. And it was a great story. It was a love story.
Yeah.
Which all K-dramas, I think, are a love story.
Yes, and I would say things like, he would do something super sweet, and I'd be like, would you do that for me? I mean, ask you those questions. And would you defect from North Korea for me?
Yes, I would. I would leave North Korea for you.
Good
Absolutely.
answer. Good answer. But it was just really refreshing to not have, there was no garbage that we had to worry about in the show. And that is refreshing in this day and age.
Yeah, you didn't have to go, ooh, cringe moment, or, boy, this is really violent, or, yeah, why did they have to drop, some curse words in there?
And you know what? We never heard a curse word.
Because it was always in Korean.
It wasn't great. They actually did swear a couple times because they actually would write it out. But some mild swear, very mild swearing. But yeah, we didn't know because.
Yeah, maybe they're really bad Korean curse words.
Maybe, and they edited the words for us. Yeah. That'd be funny.
But I think to me it was refreshing because it was such good storytelling.
It was. And now, but I do want to say, before all of you stop listening to this episode right now and go turn on Crash Landing on You, you do need to know that it does have some serious subjects in it. They talk about suicide. I mean, I shouldn't say they talk about it, but it is mentioned.
More than once.
More than once, it's mentioned. I don't think it has the same, what's the word I want?
Stigma?
Yeah.
In our society, it's very different. The stigmas are different from Korean society and our society.
Yes, they mentioned it several times, almost like I wouldn't say that it wasn't a big deal, but it's way more flippant than it is in our society for sure. Don't you agree?
I agree. Yeah, I agree. And they also talk about getting to know who you are, what you're willing to sacrifice for, and of course it's a love story, so you're willing to sacrifice a lot of things for that love. It talks about family relationships and how they're difficult.
It does. Yeah.
So there's some pretty tough subjects in there. So well written.
It is really well written. Okay, the chemistry between the two leads.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Is good. It's really good. And
you got to tell the story a little bit
about. Well, I don't want to ruin the show.
Well, you won't ruin the show.
So it's about this rich girl.
She's a Kardashian, basically. In Korea.
She's got a fashion company, a makeup company, and she's kind of mean to her employees, and she doesn't really have any relationships, and her family.
They are awful.
They're horrible to her, and so she really has no one, and she wants to go test out one of her outfits, which is actually an outfit for hang gliding or. Parachuting, parasailing, any of those things. So she decides she wants to try it out herself. She goes to try it out. A tornado comes naturally. Because, you wouldn't.
It's highly realistic.
You wouldn't check the weather before you go jump off a cliff. And she gets blown into North Korea, because she was in Seoul, Korea when this happened. She gets blown over into North Korea. She wakes up, doesn't know where she is. Anyway, and drama, love, and laughter ensues.
And with a North Korean soldier.
Yes.
Whose father is very powerful in the military. And I love his reaction to her. It's kind, but stern.
Yeah, not even that kind in the beginning. Very, very stern. Just almost polite and stern.
Polite and stern. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. But just no expression on his face for most of the movie.
Right. For the first probably like
6
7 episodes. But
he takes care of her.
Yes. And yeah, you get to watch kind of their relationship, and are they gonna, what's gonna happen? She's from South Korea, he's from North Korea. What's gonna happen?
And she teases him all the time. It's a fun chemistry between these two actors.
It is.
And they actually are a couple. They're actually married. Right?
Yes, so that's what I was going to say. We looked it up, and they just got married in real life. It makes it even better.
It's such a romance.
Oh, it makes it even better. But one of the things that's super interesting is how they portray North Korea and South Korea.
Oh,
now,
it's hilarious.
You and I have been to Seoul, South Korea.
Yes, we have.
Great town that we went to. Great city. Loved it.
It's a little more than a town.
Yes, I upgraded it to
it's
city.
The second largest city in the world.
I upgraded it to city, town, little town with how many millions of people? No, we very much enjoyed Seoul. I'm not sorry, any of you that are from Korea. I was not big on the kimchi.
You don't like pickled things.
I don't, and they really like to eat pickled things there.
And I loved it. I love kimchi. I love Korean barbecue.
I don't know if you remember this. At our hotel, there was a French bakery at the bottom of our hotel.
Oh yeah, there was.
So I ate mostly there. Don't you remember that?
Yes, I went out and ate, and she just looked at the food.
Oh, you know what? Is Seoul where I actually had like a little breakdown?
Yeah, just a little.
I did on the streets of Seoul. I had a breakdown.
Well, I was at meetings for work. Right. So you went over to the tourist area where they have a replica of ancient temples, and so you went over there, and that's the main area of Seoul.
Yes.
Where they do protests every Thursday.
Yes.
And you went there on Thursday.
I went there. They were protesting Trump at the time because that was when the election was up. It was coming up when we were there. So they were not happy that we were even considering Trump, and they were yelling. All I would understand is, they would say in their language, and I would hear Trump, and then they would say, and they're yelling and they're screaming and they're chanting, and then Trump. So I was a little worried. I was like, oh no, are they going to, should I not be walking around by myself? And while I was waiting to cross the street to go into the temple and sightsee, there were some other Americans on the corner. And so we started they were from Arizona, and they had been there for a month. And I said, is it safe? And they were like, oh yeah, it's so safe here. And they said, every Friday or whatever day it was, they were like, they protest something different that this is their day to protest. And today it was Trump, but they said, oh no, they're going to be so great and kind. And
so, they were.
And so then I totally was like, oh, phew. Yeah. So it was good after that.
Okay. So back to the K-drama.
Yes.
Instead of Paige's K-drama.
Yes. My K-drama.
Right.
Oh, but I didn't know. Remember, I had a breakdown though, because we had been in, where were we before Korea?
Tokyo.
I don't know. I don't know if you remember this. I had a breakdown, and I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
I
just wanted to be back home in the States where
you were used to everything.
Yes. I was like, I'm done. As much as I loved Tokyo, which I did love Tokyo, and as much as I loved Seoul, which I did, I was ready. I feel for immigrants that come to our country, or people that have to go to other countries to live. It's very challenging day after day after day of not understanding the language, trying to communicate, not knowing their customs. So anyway, that's why I had a little.
You know what? And that ties to this crash landing on you a little bit, because here you have this highfalutin South Korean that's now in North Korea. The language is a little bit different. The culture is very different. and you could feel her pain. So you could empathize with her.
Yes, I felt the pain. So it was interesting though. So they spent the first half of the show in North Korea, which was really filmed in Switzerland. And then the second half of the show is filmed in Seoul. Some of it's still in Switzerland, but some of it in Seoul.
Oh, actually, absolutely fabulous cinematography too.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. But it was funny to see how they portrayed North Korea versus South Korea. And now we only know North Korea from little bits and pieces that we've heard. Like, we really don't know that much about North Korea, right? I mean, we really don't. And it was funny. They painted Seoul as just the most wonderful, loving, like, we're going to arrest you and then we're going to give you some nice clothes to put on and go sit and eat in our cafeteria while you're under arrest. Like, it was kind of funny, right?
And when they question you, they go, would you like to talk to us now?
Right, yes.
It was pretty funny. I was like, oh, okay.
It was very funny. They portrayed themselves as very kind and loving. And then, in North Korea, you're going to just be shot and killed.
Yeah, they're going to take your fingernails out and the whole thing.
Actually, I didn't think they painted North Korea as bad as they could have.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. And
it was pretty interesting to see how they were portraying it. And I actually looked this up, and there is a defector from North Korea that has a YouTube channel. And he said after he watched the show that it was actually about 60% accurate. So he said it was,
it's not too bad.
He said he enjoyed watching it. And he said there was a few things that were like, oh, okay. But it was about 60% accurate of how they portrayed it. So
didn't that kimchi on the show look good?
No, it did not.
It didn't.
It did not look good at all.
Paige.
It did not look good.
Anything pickled she can't handle.
No. But yeah, so beautiful, beautiful cinematography. Interesting to see North and South Korea and how loving South Korea is going to be if you get arrested there.
Okay, I guess we have a show hole now because we consumed 16 episodes in 3 weeks. And they were an hour and a half episodes. That was pretty intense. In fact, the last 2 episodes we watched back to back.
Well, because it was the end and we were just like,
what's going to happen?
What's going to happen? In fact, that last episode was 2 hours long, wasn't it? It was like an hour and 50 minutes.
Yeah, I think so.
But we had to know how it ended because we were just like, how can this end? What's going to be the happy ending? And I'm not going to give it away. Maybe it wasn't a happy ending. So we'll just leave it at that. But what are we going to do now?
I don't know. Maybe we should read a book.
Together?
Together.
You don't.
I don't
read books. You don't read because you read all day long. For work, you read, and for school.
Yeah, this was a little taxing on me. I was tired.
For
like,
more reading.
All right, hey, let's go relax and read for the next hour and a half.
Well, yeah. But anyway, so are we going to find some more K-dramas?
Well, I think we should probably look at some. There are some that are English dubbed. I don't know if it'll be the same. We could try it.
Yeah, I was saying if they do English dub it, they need to make sure it has to be in a Korean accent, because if it's just some American saying it, that's just going to be weird. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's got to have the Korean accent at least. So.
Well, why don't we do this? We'll find it dubbed in Portuguese, then I can listen to it, and then you can read it.
I can read it in
English.
Okay, you want to do that? I don't think you do.
I don't. All right, our lemonade moment of the week. We actually drove down to Southern California for a couple days.
We did. We kind of made a last-minute decision to go see my mom and my sister. And then we saw our son Darren and Alex in San Diego.
And we remembered why we don't live there.
The traffic going there was fine.
Yeah.
We got to my mom's in like 6.5 hours. No big deal. Drove down to San Diego. No big deal. And then Saturday we went to come back. It was a big deal.
Yeah. What should have taken us about 8 hours took us about 10.5.
It was a little bit of a torture, but totally worth it. That was the Lemons, right? The Lemons was the drive.
So the lemonade came first and the lemons came
Yes,
after.
which that's not always great. Sometimes you want the lemons first and then lemon. But yes, we had the lemon. We're like, oh, this was such a good visit. I'm so glad we came. This was great. And then we ended with, can we just get home already? If you like today's episode,
give us 5 stars on iTunes, Spotify, Google.
And head to Facebook and like us.
And check out our blog at where'sthelemonade.org,
where you can leave questions and comments.
But most of all,
go out and make some lemonade.
You betcha, baby.